All right, guys, if I could have your attention, please. Per the famed mantra, we always like to start on time. So it's 6 o'clock, so we're going to start on time. My name is Andy Robertson. I'm the coordinator of workforce development at Gadsden State and also the FAME coordinator. I'd like to introduce Dr. Kathy Murphy, president of Gadsden State University, Community College. Sorry. We feel like a university.
I like that. That works for me, so that's awesome. Wow, what a terrific group we have here tonight. We're so delighted that each of you have chosen to come and spend this time with us for the Federation for Advanced Manufacturing Education. This is our fourth cohort of students, and we're proud of those first three cohorts. Do we have anybody in cohort 1 in here? Would you just wave at us if you were in our first cohort? Second? Those of you in our third cohort? Yes. We're so proud of you. And then we have our fourth cohort that'll have their signing opportunity this evening. These young people are going to receive an applied associate's degree in industrial automation. They will start at an entry-level salary at $60,000. I can tell you my first job in entry did not look like $60,000. So kudos to them for this opportunity. We're very proud of them. I do want to take a moment to acknowledge a number of important people in the room, and all of you are important, but if you'll just give me the privilege of acknowledging a few. Dr. Cynthia McCarty, would you please stand? And, well, it's hard to get out, or wave at them. Alabama State Department of Education, she represents District 6 on our state board. We're delighted to have you. Ken Seeley is with us. Mr. Seeley is Workforce Development, Alabama State Department of Education. Audrey Webb is with us, and Audrey is our ALAMAP Director, Alabama Community College, and Mr. Hall may be joining us here in just a few minutes. So Mr. Hall is our State Career Tech Director. So to all of you, thank you so much. What a fun night. You know, we always celebrate athletes and have them up doing this signing. What a really fun thing for us to do tonight as we have these young people sign. So thank you for joining us.
Well, thank you, Dr. Murphy, and thank you for coming out tonight. We are videotaping and sending this out, so if you don't hear any PA system coming and wonder why I'm talking through the microphone, it's for the benefit of those that will be listening, and you'll be able to find some of this on social media. I would like to recognize some people that we have in the crowd tonight. If we do we have any high school principals, guidance counselors, or career coaches in the crowd tonight? I don't see any, but we've made sure. Oh, well, wave your hand. I am so sorry. Let's give a round of applause to our high school administrators. And I would like to recognize you parents who have been through this process. For some of your children and students, and you've endured going through this process, maybe brought them to some interviews and been through this. I'd like to give you a round of applause for being here for this event tonight as well. I would not feel right if I didn't thank some very special people to this event in particular tonight. I'd like to recognize our workforce team and crew that has worked so hard today preparing these nice charcuterie cups that you can snack on. Yes, and I can say that. And making and cutting these wonderful cakes and decorating that so much. Cindy Haynes, Ginger Tucker, Carrie Wood, and Andy Robertson, I want to give them a round of applause as well. I would also like to recognize all of the people that are here tonight from Gadsden State. We have our executive cabinet, we have our PR, and anybody else that's on the Gadsden State team. I would like to give them one more round of applause. Now I want to talk to you about our FAME recruiting process, but before I do that, I want to give you my explanation of FAME, because as Dean of Workforce Development, I get asked quite often, what is FAME? I have a standard answer. It's an Earn While You Learn apprenticeship program. And I like to say earn while you learn, not learn then earn, because you get to go to work, you get to get experience, and then you get to come get your instruction while you're doing so. While you're working at an advanced manufacturing facility, you will have a mentor with you many times, guiding you along, and the very next day you'll be training on equipment that will help you prepare for what you're learning at that time. It is a perfect relationship between industry and education. And I think that if you are a young person that's signing here tonight, you are signing your golden ticket, because if you will come and do what we will ask you to do, if you'll be here 20 minutes early to be on time, if you will stand up and talk during the safety meetings, and if you will learn and you will engage yourself in your studies, and if you'll maintain your C average, and you'll do all the things that your employers ask you to do, you will make, as Dr. Murphy said, you'll be ready to make $60,000 a year, but you'll be making some pretty good money part-time along the way. But 20 years from now, you'll be the people maybe sitting up here for the maybe the famed 24 cohort, I guess. So you'll be that, and that's really where the potential that I see in FAME takes place, because it is a wonderful thing that we do. So that's the simple thing about FAME. And I want to talk a little bit about our recruiting class that we recruited this year. On July 2nd, Lisa Morales with East Alabama Works, Andy Robertson, and myself met, and we had some recruiting goals that we wanted to make sure that we achieved this year. Our last year's recruiting was a challenge because of the fact that we had to work around COVID, being shut out of schools and not really knowing how to recruit virtually, but we set some hard and fast goals. Our goal that day, we decided we wanted to have 40 qualified applicants, so when they came to apply to the industry partners, that the industry would pick 25 of those applicants, or 24 of those. And we also wanted to increase our diversity from our cohort last year by at least 15%. And I'm proud to say that we exceeded our goals in all occasions. We had 45 qualified applicants. We had our increase of diversity of 35%, and our industry couldn't just narrow it down to 24 applicants. They picked 29 of you. So we're very excited about that. But if you're here to sign tonight, I want you to realize you have to have a little higher GPA. You had to go and write a 200 to 300 word essay, and you had to do all the things that you had to do to get in. And we offered you an opportunity to have mock interviews, and there were 119 people that applied. And you're 29 of those 119 that's here tonight. So you're starting off strong. And I want to challenge you to stay the course. In just 5 semesters, you'll be able to walk out of here with a tremendous amount of earning potential. If your grades go down, you're going to be pulled aside and told to get your grades up, because the contract that you're signing, you have to maintain your C average, but you can do it. I know that you can, and the reward for you on the other side of this thing is tremendous. So I want to tell you a little bit more about how FAME works, and then I would like to turn it over to Lisa Morales. But before I do, I would like to compliment Abby Howell, Carl Brady, and Lisa Morales with East Alabama Works. Let's give them a round of applause. I think that we have the best FAME chapter, not only in the state, but in the nation. And I think that the reason we do is because we have a strong collaboration with East Alabama Works. Because without the collaboration with East Alabama Works and these industry partners, this chapter would not be as strong as what it is. When Lisa Morales or Carl or Abby are asked to help alongside of recruiting, they're always going to be out there, and they're always going to be helping us move along. And while we were talking about recruiting, I'll tell you that between Kerry Wood, Andy Robertson, Abby Howell, we hit about 46 high schools this year trying to sign up students for FAME. So it's been a really large team effort with that, and it's been a good opportunity for you guys to get the recruiting. So with no further ado, I would now like to turn the program over to Lisa Morales to talk about our industry partners.
Thank you, Dean Smith. I appreciate that. We cannot say enough about FAME without also including Gadsden State Community College. The partnership started in the very beginning when we heard the needs at East Alabama Works. Our job is to hear the needs from business and industry and provide workforce solutions. And so along with our automotive manufacturing industry sector chair, Scott Haywood from Honda Alabama Auto Plant, we heard the challenges that industry had. They needed industrial automation professionals and they needed entry-level production associates. So the first thing we set about was trying to find a solution for that industrial automation position. We vetted a number of programs and talked about it, went and visited some things, and Scott and I sat down and we really felt like FAME was that solution. Well, you can have a solution, but what you need is that partnership. We knew we had industry on board because they knew that they were going to be able to hire them, but what you need is a strong college partner. And Dr. Murphy, thank you. Gadsden State is that strong partner. Dean Smith has been a tremendous advocate for FAME and everything that we do to make that FAME chapter successful. So thank you very much. Let's give Gadsden State a round of applause. So we knew we needed the FAME chapter. We knew we had industry, but what you really have to have is that commitment from industry. And they committed from day one that they wanted to hire these student employees. We had the first cohort, second, third, and now, as Dr. Murphy said, we're here at our fourth cohort. So what I find today a little ironic is our industry partners are seated here at the front of the room, much like your student employees were seated during the interview process. So during the interview process, your student employee, who is now going to work for one of these employers, they were seated at a table kind of like this, right over here, and grilled in an interview by a panel which probably to them looked exactly like this room does right now. There was probably about 15 people in the room, but it probably felt to the students that this was as packed as it was. So thank you so much. We appreciate our industry partners. We have 8 world-class industries from our 7-county workforce region that are going to put your students to work in the summer and for 5 semesters, and hopefully hire them at the very end. We've had great success so far. They have found great success in the program and have continued to be supportive of our FAME chapter. So thank our industry partners because we could not do it without them. So with that, I'm going to turn it over to, I believe, Andy Robertson, and we will start our signing day process.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So our first student tonight we're going to sign is Mr. Gerardo Rio Reyes. Mr. Reyes is a graduate of Oxford High School, and he's going to be continuing his education in the advanced manufacturing with our FAME chapter. So this time, Mr. Gerardo Rio Reyes. Yep, please come on down. Dr. Murphy, Dean Smith, if you would, please come up. Right here. Dr. Murphy, if you don't mind. Dean Smith, if you don't mind. And ready, go. So, Mr. Reyes has there's 5 different companies potentially that Mr. Reyes will go to work for. So that's why he doesn't have an exact company sponsor at this time, but we expect him, the very worst case scenario, he will definitely go to work by January, but if there are any issues or any problems, he will replace somebody. So he has 5 to 6 locations he can go to, so that's why he doesn't have an exact industry sponsor at the moment. But he will have, regardless, he's coming to work, he's coming to school, He begins classes in the fall, so he will and is part of our FAME chapter and part of our FAME cohort number 4. Jack, want to take pictures? He's going to hold you. Get a picture with him. Next is Bridgewater Interiors, and with one of their selections, Mr. Hunter Lee Johnson. Bridgewater has another selection with Mr. Aragon Gage Mitchell. Unfortunately, he had a academic award at his high school he had to attend tonight, so he had a conflict and couldn't attend. But Bridgewater does have another one that they are signing also. Unfortunately, couldn't be with us tonight. Next, we have GH Metal Solutions, and they're signing Mr. Austin Mulligan. Our next industry sponsor is Eastman Chemicals, and they're signing Mr. Jackson Roberts. Thank you, ma'am. Our next industry sponsor is Honda, and their first signee is Mr. Brennan Butler. Next is Mr. Tyshawn Curley. Next is Mr. Trey Lavorne. Next for Honda, we have Mr. Noah Monday.
Signing day, you got it.
Our next industry partner is Cook Foods, and their first signee is Mr. Alexander Cole. Our next signee is Mr. Xander Galbraith. Our next signee is Mr. Britton Husk. Our next signee is Mr. Justin Lindsay. And our final cook signee is Mr. Evan Owens. Our next industry partner is Chronospam.
Takes 3 hours.
That's okay. Hey, that's okay. Hey, they come in force when they come, so you just get ready for it. Their first,
No, sorry, but will we get a chance to have pictures with the families?
most certainly. Yes, sir. So, John, I'm glad John brought that up. So I didn't want anybody thinking we're not going to give you the opportunity when we're all said and done. You guys will have time as families and industry partners to come up and take photos. Just a small fee, $5 a piece, please. But you will have the, hey, we got to pay for fame equipment somehow, so I need your help.
We ordered it extra wide, so you
That's
get
right.
the whole.
That's right. That's right.
That's what we have to charge.
Our first signee is Mr. Nathan Carr. Our next signee is Mr. Grant Harcrow. Our next signee is Mr. Caleb Harmon. Our next signee is Mr. Cade Keith. Our next signee is Mr. Mason Lockridge. Our next signee is Mr. Caden Mitchell. Our next signee is Mr. Gavin Mosley. our final signee for Kronos Band is Ms. Madison Wiley. Our next industry partner with signees is M&H Valve, and their first signee is Mr. Michael Carney. The next signee is Mr. Ryan Devon Miller. That's right. And our final industry partner tonight is Prince Metal Stampings. And their first signee tonight is Ms. Mackenzie Bonds. Their next signee is Mr. Tanner Holderfield. And the final signee for tonight is Mr. William Roblero. I guess Mr. Roblero did not make it, looks like. Okay, we'll keep his certificate down here then. Thank you, sir. Thank y'all. Yeah. So at this time, again, first off, I just want to say thank you, parents, family, friends, everybody that's came tonight. you know, we just can't tell you how much we appreciate this, to honor these young men and young women that are fixing to go and further their education and begin their working career. But as part of this, I know a lot of the mom and dads that we found, or parents, may not know about the day-to-day of fame and kind of what goes into fame, because we all hear the great things, and it is great, but we also need to understand some of the day-to-day things that go into fame. So that's kind of what I want to take time now to talk to all of you guys about, and also then allow you to ask questions if there's anything you're unclear about fame. So if you've got up here, you see up here, I have a slide. And some of the things, we always talk about the education part that goes into fame, and they will learn so many different things, and it is such a great education that they will learn. But what nobody really sees, that the day-to-day things that's broken in or part of the program, is attendance. So for example, the fame program has an attendance policy that's enforced by my industry partners here beside me. So they're allowed 4 absences per semester. If they go over more than that, they're removed from the program and they lose their job. So mom and dad, if you're around, please make sure you're getting son and daughter up to school, please, if you have to. The next thing is punctuality, because I told you when we started fame, part of the global best with fame is being punctual. So, you know, a lot of us in day-to-day, and I confess myself, I'm terrible about getting there right on time. So with fame, we don't want them getting there on time, because we just talked about the attendance and how important that is. It's important for these industry partners for attendance, because they can be the greatest employee ever, but they're not at work, they're not that great to them that day. So for punctuality for us, we emphasize on time for us is 20 minutes early. So I make note of all you signees here today, because we're going to have fame orientation Monday, June 6th, that starts at 8 o'clock. What time are you expected to be there now? 7:40. Because we're going to have, you'll see here, a green, yellow, red system. And we give you the honor system. There'll be a big board up. And I will say, thankfully, most of the time I have the privilege of bringing industry and people in and bragging, because we see a lot of greens, very few yellows, and very few reds. Green means they got to school at least 20 minutes before their class started. They can be 30 minutes, 35, but at least 20 minutes. If they're yellow, that means 19 minutes and 59 seconds is yellow. And I'm sorry, but we are global best. It may sound harsh, but we're global best. Because and the other thing that we get into is public speaking. So most people really worry and fear about getting up and speaking in public. I confess, I used to have the same fear myself, but practice has made me, or allowed me, to overcome it for the most part. So that's part of this. Before every class, these students will participate in a safety circle. So it's a twofold process. First off, they're learning to speak in front of their peers. They go over certain things like making sure they can hear them in the back of the room, making sure they don't have their hands in their pockets, not stammering, stuttering, a lot of ums and uhs, just good public speaking habits to be in. So they will do that so often, and I will tell you, we record a lot of the public speaking that they do, and we go back and show them first semester, we show them third, and we show them fifth semester. You would not believe the transformation. Maybe that shy student, so your son or daughter that might be shy, that doesn't want to speak in public, come semester number 5, you'll be surprised at how well they can do that and how elegant they become, and they know these things. So it's really, that's part of the soft skills that's behind the scenes in addition to the education they receive. So, and again, I just talked about the expectation for students to arrive 20 minutes early, talked about the green, yellow, red. So one of the other things for fame, Dean Smith touched on it, it's a earn while you learn. So these students, we have this worked out, so these students take all their classes 2 days a week. They don't have to come take half a day for 4 days. And there's some long days. Sometimes it's 8 and 10 hour days, so I'll just tell you that. So if your son or daughter says they're at school that long or after 5 o'clock, they probably really are, because we've got them in classes that long. But they can get everything done in 2 days, but then that allows them to go to work the other 3 days of the week, and then sometimes on Saturday if their employers allow it. So that's part of the positive. They're guaranteed to work a minimum of 24 hours a week. So that way they're able to make some money while they're learning in school, and they're getting on-the-job experience or on-the-job training and 2 years experience when they're finished with this program. So then they're able to go apply for a job when they complete the program, and now they have 2 years of experience that's verified by industry they can put on their resume. So that's huge, because they've come to school, They've made money while they're going to school, and they have industry experience for what they went to school for. That's a tremendous, tremendous advantage when you leave school. So we'll talk about this. Every student does have a mentor. So, mom and dads, hopefully I can put you a little bit of at ease, because these students are going to work in an industry setting. They're not just going to turn them loose and say, hey, go fix something. And that should make you happy, because if it was my son or daughter, I'd be worried about that too. So, the positive, each student will have a mentor they work with. So they will have somebody assigned with them and they follow them. So probably for the first semester, some of the second, they're literally just shadowing, watching, learning, and asking questions. But that's huge. They're getting paid to do that, getting paid while they're doing that. And as the student has more skills and more competencies, the mentor kind of backs up and the student comes to the forefront. So then they kind of change roles a little bit, and it's a gradual process. Some processes happen sooner than others. Some happen fourth semester, fifth. But the goal, we want that to happen, because at that point they have enough education, they can come up and perform this job for these companies. That's why they're offering them a job at the end of this program. So we talked about grades must be a C or better. So that's part of the FAME. So we talked about attendance. In FAME, you cannot make a D or F and stay in the program. So we have to make A's, B's, and C's. That sounds pretty harsh also, doesn't it? I'm going to tell you part of what we do, because we understand how difficult this can be and what we're asking of these students. So what we do now, every 2 weeks, we monitor their grades and we monitor their attendance. So we're constantly checking on their grades and checking on their attendance every 2 weeks, every 2 weeks, every 2 weeks. And we also employ the green, yellow, red system for their grades. If they're green, they never hear from me other than, hey, how are you doing? Hope things are going well. If it's yellow or red, that leads to one-on-one conversations with me and the student. Because I understand what's at risk. I understand we want these students to be successful. So we do all we can on our part to make sure we're following them, tracking them, and helping them any way we can, showing them all the supportive services they have, and helping them any way possible. And I'm going to tell you, after we have this conversation, when we get the grade report 2 weeks later, if we're still yellow or red, then obviously our conversation didn't work, and I'm getting concerned, because I don't want any of these students not to be successful in this program. At that point, we call industry, and industry knows where we stand, where we're at, and then typically we ask industry to cut their hours till they get their grades caught back up. And I will say from my experience, you'll be shocked how the first 2 weeks we couldn't get caught up, and when I cut their hours and it cuts their money, how quick their grades get caught up. It's pretty shocking. So that's, from my side, that's why I don't feel so bad, because I've seen the results. And I have seen these students then go on to be successful and us not have to have these conversations again, which is good. I like just coming in and saying, hey, how are you doing, and checking up on them, not, hey, come here, we need to have a talk. So that's always positive. The last thing I want you guys to know as parents, you may or may not be familiar with the community college system and universities and school. So unless your son or daughter signs an agreement, we cannot talk to you about grades and attendance. So that's why I know it's a transition from high school where you had access to that. We can't do that now unless you, like he had said, unless your son or daughter does that. As much as I would love to get you involved, if they've not signed that, because I know you can really reach them a lot of times when we are not. Again, if they do not sign that paper, I can't talk to you about grades or attendance. So just want everybody to know that, so it's not a shock to you, or it's not that we're being mean or just trying not to help them. We want to help them, but we're legally obligated. We cannot. So I just want you guys to know that. That's kind of some of the main high points or the main points for day to day. I'll open it up. Do any of you have any questions or anything you'd like to ask that maybe I didn't cover or you're not sure about FAME? Yes, ma'am.
How many family members can be put on that list?
I think it only has a place for 2. But I like that. I like that question. I think it comes standard for 2, but I believe I would check and see we might can add additional ones. But I appreciate your question. Thank you. Thank you. Yes, ma'am.
If they have a withdrawal from the class, does that also take them out?
It does. Withdrawals, D's or F's, remove you from the program. So we cannot withdraw from a class. We can't make a D, we can't make a F. We're going to be successful because this is plotted out. We're completing 76 hours in 5 semesters while you're working. So we can't dilly-dally, we've got to get on with it, and that's what we do. But that's part of why after 5 semesters you are successful. After five semesters you are graduating and you are ready to go to work. Come on, I know I didn't do so good. Y'all don't have any questions.
How does dual enrollment credits?
If they've already had their academics, those credits still continue and transfer on. Unfortunately, as part of the FAME, not Gadsden State, but as part of the FAME requirements, because again, we talk about this FAME safety circle and some public speaking and things that we do, any technical class that's in this program has to be taught by a FAME certified instructor. So that's the other part. These instructors, or our instructor, that you'll see here in a minute via video, has to go to school, has to have gone through these trainings so that she can incorporate these things that we're talking about into their classes. It's a great question. Well, I must have really done good this time, didn't I? If you have some that you can't think of now and you want to catch me later, please feel free to. At this time, typically, our instructor, Ms. Tarina Veneta, would have been here to speak to all of you, be a part of this, but unfortunately, she's had surgery today, so she knew she could not be here. I will say, thankfully, she has come through surgery with flying colors, is at home resting, so that's great. But at this time, I'm going to play a short video that she was able to record for you incoming, for your cohort. So we'll see it now.
My name is Tringe, and funny, my personal safety commitment is to always use a proper tool for the job. I want to apologize for not being able to be there in person, but I did want to take a moment and be able to welcome you and say congratulations for making it into the new 2022 FAME cohort. I hope you know what an honor it is to be chosen for these positions. I also want you to take a second and look around the room. I know that you probably have family members, career coaches, advisors there that have supported you and helped you along to become successful in getting into the FAME cohort. Well, now look around the rest of the room. You've got industry partners, you've got all kinds of departments here at the school, and now you have your fellow cohort members. This truly is a global best support system. And I look forward to seeing all of you in orientation so we can start your global best journey to being successful in FAME. Thank you.
So again, in closing, I would like to thank all of you that took time to come out to honor these young men and young women that's going to join our FAME program. Thank all of you. This is an extremely successful program, but it's due to all the hard work that these young men and women are going to put into it and the support system that they're going to have at school and at home. So if anything comes up, you have questions, please don't hesitate to contact us. I will put my information up right here right now. Sorry. Yes, ma'am.
Is there a certain amount of credits they need to take for each semester?
We have that laid out in our curriculum, and I'm glad you brought that up. That's something I should have mentioned to you. I apologize. A lot of students have already contacted us also about registering for classes for the fall. During our orientation that we have up here now for these important dates, June 6 through 9, the FAME schedule is hidden from other students. So basically, it's reserved for just FAME students. So it's unavailable to anybody else. So these classes are empty, waiting on us to put these students in it. So we will take care of their fall schedule, and we'll do that every semester. So we have it laid out. All 5 semesters are already laid out in the schedule. So, yes, ma'am.
For the dual enrollment students, there's a restriction when you register online because of dual enrollment, and it has to be removed from the campus.
Okay.
In order for them to be able to pay for their classes.
Yes, ma'am.
That will be removed when they graduate, when they graduate,
Right.
they receive their final transcript, that'll be removed.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, no, it's perfect. So they will, because we're going to let them take more than 3 classes, I promise you. I think first semester, so I'm not trying to share y'all, I think we start out at 14 hours, then I think we go to 17 second semester, and I would just have to look at it in front of me, but we're going to complete 76 hours in 5 semesters. So that's good question. So, and I did forget that, so I apologize. So I did want to put these important dates up. So orientation is June 6th through 9th that I mentioned. It is 8 to 5. We will register you for classes, and you'll get your class schedule during that time. So that's important. So don't worry, because I know a lot of registration's already going on. Again, these classes are hid. They're just for FAME students, so they will not be full. You'll be okay. The other thing I want to mention while we're here, and parents, I want you to see this as well. Since after orientation, we will not see the students again until they start school, typically in August. We want to make sure we're staying in touch with them at the school. So July 21st from 6 to 8, we're going to have a summer social where we're going to have all the senior cohort that is here with me now that I did not mention, and this new cohort that's coming in. We'll all get together. We're going to cook, we're going to play some games, and we're going to do some things during that time just so we can get to know one another better. If things are going on that we need to talk about, we can do that at that time also. So I just want you guys to know that's what we want to do, because we intend to stay connected and be a part of them from now till they finish their career, and even after they finish their career if we need to help them that way also. So this is what I was trying to get to. I apologize. So my contact information is up here. You can email me and I'll leave it up, and my phone numbers, and also Miss Carrie Wood. You can email or contact either one of us, and we'll be glad to answer any questions you may have. Anything like that we can do for you. So did I leave anything off? Any question you'd like to have before I get these tables out of the way and get my money out so I can start collecting it for pictures? Don't be shy. I'm just kidding about the money. So please come. Please take your pictures. Again, thank all of you for coming. Thank you for supporting these students. So thank y'all.